Good morning, friends. Pastor Terry Parks here, just enjoying an early morning stroll along the beach. I'm down in Panama City, Florida on a ministry trip for a few days and going to be ministering with the church at United with Christ in Panama City. We had a nice roundtable ministry discussion last night with a group of friends that I've known for many, many years at the Outpost at Heritage Farms, and I thank Sandy Hathaway for the invitation to speak and minister and share there, as well as reconnecting with old friends. And so I have a lot of history here. I was in the military stationed down here at Tyndall Air Force Base back in the late 80s and early 90s, and I've got lots of friends that I've had ever since then down here. And so our church plant's doing great. Thanks again, Pastor Faith, and for inviting me down. And we're going to have a men's breakfast this morning at Golden Corral in a little while. And then Sunday evening, I'll be ministering at United with Christ in Panama City. And in almost all my messages in the last year or two, I've been incorporating little cues and tips on the importance of training our children and child rearing and things that I have found to be helpful as a father of over 40 years. And having a toddler, things that resurface that I've learned over time. And I like to share them because effective parenting is not automatic. As a matter of fact, most of us come from families with a bit of brokenness, from families and parents that had no idea what they were doing many times. And that certainly includes most of me and most of those that I know. And I have a real heart for this. And so I want to just encourage you to take a look at my Instagram page and my Facebook page, because I put a lot of material on there that are tips. And I believe this is a huge gap in the modern church because we don't teach and train typically in churches enough on child training. We don't teach and train on practical things like money management, how to treat your spouse, how to effectively manage your home. And these are nuts and bolts things that society is really lacking in training us in and training young couples in. And so I try to touch on that because I see it as a big gap. And one of the things I want to talk to you about today is some passages of Scripture that are principally saying the same thing. One is in Colossians 3:21, and the other one is in Ephesians chapter 6, around first 4 verses. And it's simply about child training and parenting. And it says this, and I think Ephesians 4 words it like this. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right, and this is the first commandment with the promise that it will go well with you in the land. Then it has an interesting thing that is really said in both Colossians and the verse here in Ephesians. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, or do not provoke your children to wrath, but raise them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. And that's an interesting thing. Fathers, don't provoke them. The terms there in the Greek, it's two different Greek words, but one is like don't exasperate them, don't frustrate them. And the other one is just don't bother them or talk to them in a way that causes them anger. And I think that the key here in these verses is that if we take the time to first instruct, and discipline here is not about spanking or anything like that. It's about giving discipleship. If we take the time to instruct on the front end, we'll have to do a lot less correction on the back end of things. We'll spend a lot less of our time correcting things if we spend our time first training them. And we need to understand children are a blank slate. They're a book waiting to be written. They are like a computer awaiting software. A computer without software doesn't know what to do. You can turn it on, it's functioning, it's awake, but it doesn't have any guidance or instructions on how to help, how to function, how to be effective. And similarly, children need instruction on how to conduct themselves. And so a lot of times we get exasperated or frustrated with our kids because they do things that are foolish or senseless and aggravate us. But a lot of times I think we fail to realize that they do these things because we don't spend the time constructively teaching and training them so that they don't do these things because they simply don't know not to do them. And so anyhow, don't exasperate your children. If you find yourself being very frustrated, we need to understand that there's a difference between rebellion and immaturity. Little children need to hear the same instruction over and over and over before it gets through to them. And so they need things modeled for them. They need things demonstrated for them, and they need to hear it over and over. And so, if you say to a 3-year-old, go pick up your room, they don't even know where to get started. And so, my 3-year-old, if I say, Shane, let's pick up your room, the first thing he's going to do is say, Dad, will you help me? Because that's a big thing to him. He says, like, there's toys everywhere, and and he's got a lot of toys, and we have a whole room dedicated to his toys, and he doesn't know where to get started. He doesn't know where to put things. He doesn't know how to organize. That's where we come in as parents to teach and train them. And so I'll say, sure, I'll help you. And so I'll go in and I'll show him, let's put your tools in here, because he has play school tools. Let's put your coloring stuff here. Let's put your building blocks there. You show him, you show them. And now the interesting thing about that is that it has a payback, because anything I am doing, anything his mother is doing, one of the first things he's going to do when he sees that is he's going to say to us, hey, Dad, can I help? Hey, Mom, can I help? Now, as a 3-year-old, there's limited things he can do. But you know what? Put something in his hands and let him help, because they get such a sense of fulfillment in being part of something bigger than themselves. They get this shot of joy knowing that they're being useful, productive, and you can give them praise and thank them and tell them how big of they're being a good boy, big boy, and you give them a sense of accomplishment, and they vitally need that. They need that affirmation. And so, like, I've been doing a lot of landscaping outside this summer, and and I'll be shoveling gravel. I've been using decorative stone a lot, and in my landscaping, and he wants to help, and I've got a wheelbarrow and shovels. And he can't really shovel a whole lot, but I'll help him manage a shovel, put a little bit on a shovel, and let him move the gravel. And he gets such a charge out of that. Now, he's 3 years old. He's not going to be engaged in that very long before he's going to get bored. That's fine. Pat him on the back, give him a hug and kiss, tell him what a big help he was, and let him go about his business playing or whatever he's going to do. And so similarly with your kids, in the kitchen, let them put away the dishes from the dishwasher. Start with the plasticware or the silverware, and let them load the dishwasher. Or if you're washing dishes, let them wash the dishes. Pull a chair up by your sink and let them wash the plastic things, and show them. And that's a great opportunity to tie the strings of fellowship. Similarly, when you're outside doing cleanup or anything, picking up sticks. We have a lot of trees in our yard, and whenever we have a big wind, we have a lot of sticks that fall out of the trees. Let them get out there and help. And, don't beat them up about it. Just make it a time of fellowship. They get a lot of satisfaction and joy out of doing things with you, as opposed to you just saying, go out there and do that. When they're older, you can do that. And so they'll appreciate that. But if you just go out there and tell them to do it and you don't help them, you're going to exasperate them. You're going to frustrate them. You're going to provoke them to anger. And so anyhow, I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see lots of different teachings and trainings on different things. Please check that out, Terry Parks on YouTube. And then I've got my Instagram page. It's TScott504, or no, TScott506, I think it is. And then my Facebook page. So just look me up and you can find me there. So anyhow, I hope to see friends this weekend. We had a great time last night at the Outpost with my dear friend Sandy and Ed Hathaway out there. And looking forward to a men's breakfast this morning and our service Sunday night in Lynn Haven, Florida at United with Christ in Panama City. God bless you, and I hope you have a great day.